Hello everybody and welcome back. Listen to those sweet sounds. It can mean only one thing. It is Lotus Challenge time once more. Part of the 2025 season. We are at round 4 on the 3rd of May for Dezzi Raceway. Yes, that's right. We are down on the coast where it is sunny, where it is beautiful, and where the racing is absolutely frenetic. Let's take a look at some of our sponsors for this race. Brought to you by African Packaging and Water Solutions, Elite Racing, R-Pack Solutions, and Dogs Trust. Looks like we're about to get going for racing. Lots of work happening in the paddock just to get these guys out onto the grid. But let's start those engines and get ready for race 1. Lotus Challenge 2025, of course, brought to you by Dunlop Tires SA and ATS Motorsports Supplies. We are about to get going for race 1 on board with Andy Fulton as he's looking to line up onto the grid, get a little bit of heat into those tires, but on board with Jeff Gable and lights out and away we go for the first race for us in 2025 down to Dezzi into turn 1. Looks like everybody just about maintaining position. Sean Hepburn up onto the back of Ben Knights there. Looks like he's got past as well through turn 1. Great little move there by Sean Hepburn and looking to challenge onto the back of Nick Hodgson very soon. But on board with Andy Fulton now, going side by side with Rowan van der Walt through turns 2 and 3 down through this little corkscrew section. Looks like Rowan might have that done up on the inside. Oh, but Andy Fulton sweeping around the outside and then taking the normal racing line up and over the hill. You can see just how bumpy it is. Dezzi Raceway is an absolute killer on race cars. It really hammers them. So you can see the suspension working so hard even as you just go down the hill. And Andre Duplessis up on the inside of Rowan van der Walt, and Rowan losing out on that position as well. Andre now looking to go ahead and attack Andy Fulton and Ben Knights up ahead. Now on board with Barry Dunford. Oh, really attacking those curves. Got to be careful there, Barry. The sudden dip and drop off on the track is prone to damaging sumps, but Barry looking to be all over the back of Jean de Toy now, who is also attacking Rowan van der Walt. Rowan having a torrid time and a torrid start to this first lap of race 1, losing out a number of positions. And look at Jean de Toy squeaking through, former champion of course in Lotus Challenge Class L, and showing all of that experience immediately on board with Jeff Gable, leading us out in Class B and absolutely flying. Having a wonderful race at the start of race 1. It's far from over yet. You can see just how much speed Jeff is able to carry through these corners, using absolutely all and some more of those curbs where he can possibly get away with it, and flying down the hill he goes. Back on board now with Rowan van der Walt. He's got that looks like a replay there of Andy Fulton going through on Rowan on lap 1 with Andre Duplessis all over the back of him, about to come through the bird's eye, or camera eye view I should say, of Rowan's perspective here on the attack, and Andre Duplessis just getting through. This track is so twisty and tight. It is so difficult to get any kind of overtake happening, and Rowan just losing out a couple of positions there as we mentioned before, but going to be getting into his rhythm very soon, I am sure. You can see Barry Dunford all over the back of Rowan now, getting very squirrely under the brakes, really struggling looks like with the balance of that car. And this is Jean de Toy's pass now going. You can see just how big that jump is, or that yump is, as you go over the runway at Dezzi. Again, another spot that if you're not careful and lower your car too much, that's going to be a sump if you're unlucky. Andy Fulton though, not unlucky, making a great move on Ben Knights and going through for a net 3rd position in Class L. And Ben, you can see working really hard at the wheel there, maybe also struggling a little bit with setup or something going on there, possibly cold tires. Remember, still start of the race, still very early days, but Andy Fulton working his way through the pack beautifully in his brand new car. Remember, Andy Fulton has built that car for this season. All right, running super wide and only just getting the car back on track and avoiding any damage, but Barry Dunford is all over the back of him, and Barry's going to try and have that move round the outside, very slippery on the outside of this 180 degree turn, and that definitely shows there. You can see just how much more grip Ruan had on the inside, but Barry's not giving up, trying to go around the outside once again, and Ruan making full use of the defensive line, and again, Barry having another little look, another little attack, but nothing doing. He's going to have to try line something up, I'm sure, for the long start-finish straight. Oh, again, Ruan getting a very poor exit, and it allows Barry to dive up the inside. What a move. Barry Dunford getting his elbows out and pushing his way through, making that move stick. Barry absolutely flying here at Dezzi Raceway. Has historically been a track that Barry has done really, really well at. Ex-go-kart driver, and possibly extremely used to these sort of tight, twisty tracks that go-karts are known for, and really making it pay at the moment here at Dezzi Raceway for race 1 in Lotus Challenge. And Ruan van der Walt, you can now see, has a couple of cars behind him as well. Absolutely no let-up for Ruan this race, and he's going to be trying to find his rhythm desperately, and it's absolutely key. It is so key around Dezzi to find that rhythm. Andre Duplessis, though, definitely in the rhythm, and looking to attack Ben Knights. Ben leaving the door open, going very wide through this corner. You can see Andre just hooking his wheel onto the inside there of the corner and helping pull him around, and Ben using the same tactic through this tight little left-hander. But I tell you what, Jean de Toy has got a fantastic run out of that corner and is all over the back of these two now. Andre Duplessis sneaking through up the inside as we go up and over the runway, down onto the and into the last little section. Jean de Toy running wide, taking a different line to both Andre and Ben. Interesting to see there who's going to get the better flick back. Oh, you can see Ben just wobbling a little bit on the exit, and that has allowed Jean de Toy to get involved here, definitely losing Ben out. Ben's definitely losing out some time on that, but lives to fight another day as they go through turn 1. On board now with Barry Dunford, who's behind these squabbling pair now, and Jean de Toy just looking for any little opening that Ben is going to give him, and Barry Dunford lurking in the background, about to pounce if either of these two make any kind of mistake or have any sort of coming together, and desperate to gain a couple of positions. Back on board now with Ruan van der Walt, and he's just behind Barry Dunford, so this is the same lap, of course, and on lap 7 we go into this tight right-hander. Very key to get that inside wheel just onto the cement. Lots of grip there, and the camber of that corner really provides excellent grip. With Jeff Gable now leading the way by quite a clear margin in Class B. What a phenomenal performance Jeff has provided us, and having suffered a few mechanical maladies on the day before, on practice day right at the end, looks like the time spent in the pits, in the garage overnight, has really paid off, and Jeff is absolutely flying here in Class B, and a phenomenal performance by him. Tucking the car in round this tight right-hander again. You can see leaders using that little concrete strip. Jeff nice and smooth as well. Not too many histrionics going on there in that car. It's all smooth sailing at the moment. Andy Fulton, though, looking to attack Sean Hepburn up ahead. That looks like a struggling B-class, though. That looks to be JP Nokia. I'm not sure what's going on there, but JP is absolutely all over the place. It looks to me like a right rear puncture. Just looking at that tire, looked incredibly deflated, as I'm sure JP is going to be feeling right now, but that meant that Sean and Andy have been able to squeak through. But what it has done is it's brought Andy into contention for that second position. Of course, we are looking at the podium here. We're looking at Sean in second at the moment, Andy Fulton in third, and Andy is right behind Sean now as we get into the closing stages of this race. We'll have to see how this one pans out, but this could go any way that you could possibly imagine. In we go down this little corkscrew section. Let's see how these guys manage to get their way through, but flicking back now as we're on lap 8, flicking back now to Ruan van der Walt, and on board with him as he's looking to attack Barry Dunford. Barry's not quite been able to close up onto the back of Jean de Toy and Ben Knights. Jean's still struggling to get through on Ben. We'll have to see if he's going to make a move. I can see him pulling out to have a look, a dive down the inside. That's a pretty surefire way to get a position and force the driver out to that outside where it's super slippery. But I tell you what, Ben has seemed to find some grip and has managed to keep that position for the moment, and taking that defensive line once again. Really aggressive with those curbs. Jean de Toy, though, speaking of aggressive, absolutely gets a rocket ship of an exit, and Barry Dunford dives down the inside as well. That's Ben Knight losing our 2 places in the matter of the same number of corners. He's going to be absolutely kicking himself, but I tell you what, incredibly brave moves from both Jean de Toy and Barry Dunford to get those passes done and dusted. But Barry now is all over the back of Jean. Is he going to be able to make a move as we get into the very dying stages of this race? We're going to be seeing the checkered flag just now, I'm sure, as we head onto the 10th lap of this race. And Barry is absolutely all over Jean de Toy. You can see on his delta there, it looks like he's on for a quick lap to start with. So how that pans out, we'll have to cut back. You can see now Andre Duplessis is battling with JP Nokia, who's got that puncture. He's got that right rear puncture. You can see just how compromised JP is coming out any kind of left-hand corner, and that's allowed Andre Duplessis to get through on JP. Of course, not for a points-paying position, but certainly Andre will be happy to have JP behind him and provide him just with a little bit of a buffer. Here you can see on board now with Andy Fulton attacking the back of Sean Hepburn. Sean, though, a wily old campaigner, is not going to give Andy any kind. Andy Fulton getting a compromised exit there on the last corner, and that's really allowed Sean Hepburn to scamper away as I believe they go onto the final lap of the race. You can see just how much of a gap Sean has already pulled out, but let's see if Andy can do anything about it. Down into third gear, into turn 1 we go, and getting a really good exit there is Andy, closing himself up on the back of Sean. As we go into turn 2, you can see just how much more confidence Andy Fulton has through turns 2 and 3 down into this little corkscrew, and has kind of made up that deficit from the little mistake onto the last corner. As we go through up and over this blind crest, this blind rise, you've got to have super amounts of faith. As we cut back to Jeff Gable now, as he crosses the start finish line and takes the victory for race 1. That's it, Jeff Gable taking victory in Class B. Let's see how everybody else comes across the line. We've got Nick Hodgson there coming across the line in P1 for Class L, but in the mid-pack of Class L there's still a huge amount of battling. Once again, Ben Knight's being forced all the way to the outside of this tight right-hander, and Ron van der Walt using all of his nous to try and get past, but Ben Knight's using that tight line through this little left-hander. I tell you what, he's used that to huge effect in the last race. It looks like JP Nokia really has deflated that tire, and he's absolutely struggling to get to the end of the race. And just see that checkered flag on board now with Andy Fulton once again trying everything he can to get past Sean Hepburn, but we are going to see that checkered flag, and it looks like Sean Hepburn is going to come home in second position. There it is, there's that checkered flag. Andy Fulton coming across the line in third. Great racing from those two, really hard and fair. Barry Dunford just behind Jean de Toy. Jean sticking out his hand, Barry sticking out his hand. What a great little race and dice between those two. How's it going to end between Ben and Ron? It looks like Ben has lost a front fender. I can see it just waggling there as they cross the start finish line. Maybe a little bit of a coming together that we didn't see, but let's see how everything shaped up at the end of the race. In P1 for Class B, we have Jeff Gable, as we saw, coming across the line, and then followed by JP Nokia limping home, and David Jeremy in third position in a DNF. In Class L, we have Nick Hodgson, followed by Sean Hepburn and Andy Fulton making the top 3. And Class X, Corbin Spies, Mario De Silva, and Darren Talyard. Let's hear from the drivers now how they found their race.
Nick, race 1 win. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, Andy, so honestly just happy to be here and to start and finish, given the problems that we had yesterday with a cracked chassis. Luckily, you came to the rescue with a welder, and that got me on track. Otherwise, I was going home. So, just to start and finish is a blessing. And very happy to be here. Obviously, extremely happy to take a win. Managed to get off the line really well. I think Ben in second place bogged down, and that gave me a little bit of a gap where he didn't get the best of starts. So that gave me a little bit of breathing space to find my rhythm, and then just get into it, explore the car, make sure everything was alright. And luckily managed to get over the finish line. So very happy, very happy.
Cool. Andy, race 1 done and dusted.
Oh, gosh, what a lovely event here. The weather's great today, so I managed to start fourth on the grid, which was great. Didn't have my best start ever. Got off the mark. The competition was fierce. I managed to work myself up to a third place behind Sean, and I managed to keep a good pace. I was comfortable. I actually had time to breathe and actually enjoy the car. So far so good. I'm very happy. Finished third, and looking forward to the next race.
Yeah, it was good fun. I qualified in second place, so I was intrigued to be on the front row of the grid. But then to add a bit of a spanner to the works, I realised I needed to change my brakes. So it was straight into race 1 with fresh rear brakes. But it was still good, it was fun. Managed to stay semi in front, and then had a bit of a dice with these chaps as they all took advantage of entirely my brakes. That's the reason.
We saw that. I mean, when I almost heated from the back.
Yes, yeah. So Andre used me as brakes as well.
I was returning a favour from a few years ago, where he used me as a brake, but I didn't do it properly.
Yes.
And then I caught up with Ben a bit, but it was quite a bit of. It's tough to pass a Dezzi, and I took an inside line. He gave me a fair bit of space, so I stuck my nose in there and we went side by side, and I'm like, okay, we're doing this side by side. Into the left and at the bottom it was a bit nervy, but we got through it and I managed to sneak past, and I got some clean air and just made use of it.
Got stuck a bit behind him, but also had to pull a sneaky one in to dive on the inside, but as always he leaves space. And then I just saw this blue and yellow car coming, and Barry was hunting me. I got a big knock up away, but I managed to stay in front just over the line.
I feel that my politeness was taken advantage of. I was very kind to this man, and then all of a sudden this man goes, while he's doing that, I'll also do it.
Got caught behind Ruan, and I think he had an issue with gear ratios and stuff, so he didn't really have the race pace in the cars. So I got held up, I fell back about 5-6 car lengths, and I started making up. Once I got past Ruan, it took me 2 attempts because I outbraked myself, and started catching up, and it was mega exciting. I've improved my lap times tremendously this race. So when I caught up to Jean, I knew it wasn't going to be easy to overtake these two guys because they have got the biggest doors on the racetrack.
African Packaging and Water Solutions are the leading supplier of quality bubble insulation, packaging and pool cover products. Their unique formulations for South African conditions and CSIR tested products guarantee locally made quality. Right now, these drivers getting suited and booted, ready for race 2. Downhill we go, looking for those lights. On board with Barry Dunford, lights out, away we go, and it's a good start from Barry, but a great start from Ron, getting side by side with Andre Duplessis and looking to challenge Sean Hepburn. Just ahead, in we go through turn 1, can see somebody locking up. Looks to be Andy Fulton just further ahead, and it looks like Nick Hodgson currently leading away in Class L. Still on board with Barry Dunford, of course, looking to attack, especially as Andre Duplessis is under pressure from Rowan van der Walt right now. Rowan unable to go around the outside, but still keeps his nose up for again the outside line through turn 5, not quite making that happen. Ben Knights, you can see in the background of Barry Dunford, trying to make a move. On board now with Rowan as we go down the hill towards that 180-degree right-hander. Let's see if he can make a move up the inside. Is going to be the way to do it. Andre Duplessis giving a huge amount of space on the inside of that corner, but Rowan just not quite able to make a move on Andre at this stage. As we go, you can see in the background, looks like Ben is battling with someone, probably Barry Dunford, and Rowan trying to make a little bit of space up. He's given Andre a little bit more of a gap. On board now with Jeff Gable as we come through for the end of lap 1. Remember, 10 laps using absolutely all of the track is Jeff, and absolutely flying as well. What a great start Jeff has had to race 2 for Dezzi Raceway down on the south coast, and so smooth. That's absolutely what I'm picking up from Jeff Gable and his driving style down here at Dezzi. Just super smooth and consistent, and is really paying dividends for him. Andy Fulton, though, has managed to get himself up into second place for this second race. Of course, starting from the second row of the grid. A great result in race 1. Coming through, charging through the pack in race 1 and looking to try and stay in that slipstream of Nick Hodgson. You can see that he's got Sean Hepburn all over the back of him. I have a feeling that is going to run. A replay now of lap 1. You can see that Rohan just gets a run around the outside, but Andre with the inside line is able to fend off Rohan as he just has a little bit more grip on that inside line, and Rohan has to give him space. Of course, both these drivers giving each other brilliant space, and it just shows that inside line is super powerful around Dezzi, just with the extra grip, and it means your opponent on the outside really has nowhere to go. If you're going to make a move, it's going to have to be a good one. On board here with Ben Knights as he goes into 4th, back down into 3rd, trying to take a cutback line through this tight right-hander, and he doesn't quite make it work. Not quite there, but is he going to use the inside line? He's going to use the inside line. He's been so effective in race 1 through that inside line, but will it actually pay off? We'll have to see now. We'll have to see if that move, if Ben's able to make that move stick. Looks like he doesn't, and now he's under pressure from Jean de Toy. Jean all over the back of Ben and trying to get a run the outside as we go up and over the drag strip and going around the outside. But Ben should have this move made, but Jean is absolutely persistent. My goodness, how has he made that work? There is way less grip on the outside, but Ben should get a better exit, getting very squirrely on the exit though, and that has allowed Jean to just squeak through and keep that place. Looks like we have one of our KZN friends trying to make a move as well, and a good move there, and Ben Knights has just lost a couple of positions in a matter of laps, having tried to battle Barry Dunford and been unsuccessful. You could just see just one small mistake here in Lotus Challenge and you are going to lose a number of positions, even at a track like Dezzi. Barry, though, has found his rhythm and is now trying to challenge Rohan van der Walt. He's just in the slipstream here, will help him down the hill, but he's going to have to get his lines absolutely spot on and perfect to make sure that he can catch up to Rohan and then crucially challenge for that position. We'll come back to him later. So we see Jeff Gable once again crossing the line in first position as we go along. A 1:19.1 I see there from Jeff. Good lap from Jeff, and again, look how smooth, using all the curbing as well. Super confident with his car right now. That's exactly what you need for success at Dezzi. You've got to be absolutely one with your car and so confident behind that wheel. Speaking of confidence, Sean Hepburn full of confidence, trying to go around the outside of Andy. Andy getting so sideways as he rides the curb, and that just allows Sean to squeak through around the outside of turn 2, and then as we go through 3, 4 and up over 5, it's still anybody's game. But Andy Fulton, oh my goodness, look how wide Sean runs out of 5 and down the hill. Pushing to the hilt here is Sean Hepburn and trying to get away and break the toe from Andy. Will that happen? We'll have to wait and see. Remember, this track is super technical, so it's highly probable that these drivers are stronger in certain parts of the track than others. Now we can just see from behind Andy, we've got Andre Duplessis looking to charge, looking to make a move. These two are fighting, and as they fight, they are not quite as quick as what they would be, so it's possible that Andre is going to be there snapping at their heels and looking for a move on both of them if they make a mistake or come together. But of course, that is the last thing we want, is drivers coming together and causing any kind of damage. We want tight, hard, fast and frantic battles, but we definitely don't want any damage. And Andre Duplessis getting a good run out of that last corner. But and in the slipstream, of course, definitely helping. A 121 there from Andre, doing some decent, solid lap times. Wow, running all over the curb on the inside. That is super brave because it can throw you off. And then there are not good things on the exit of turn 1. Jeff Gable, you can see JP Nokia is now in now in the background of Jeff, and that's it. But he comes across the line. JP Nokia, oh, so close, JP, but that comes across in first for B. JP just behind. You can see Nick Hodgson crossing the line there, taking the checkered flag for Class L. Andre Duplessis, who's going to end up going across the line here for L. It looks like Sean is just going to squeak it ahead of Andy, ahead of Andre. What close racing here. That is incredible to see. And of course, for the podium for Class L. So let's have a look at the official results, see how we actually stack up. And in Class B, we have Jeff Gable taking top honours yet again, followed by JP Nokia coming back with a very strong result after his puncture in race 1. David Jeremy coming across in third place, but did not finish, unfortunately, with Nick Hodgson, Sean Hepburn and Andy Fulton in Class L, followed by Andre Duplessis just behind and just missing out on that podium. Let's hear from the drivers after race 2 now.
Weather was good again. Managed to get off the line in second position, and the first 2 or 3 corners were slippery as usual. Sort of found a rhythm. I got tucked in nicely, not too nicely, behind Nick, but Nick started pulling a bit of a gap, and I had this other car constantly in my rearview mirrors. So I would say lap 4, 5 and 6 was great. I managed to hold Sean off, but he'd been knocking on the door a few times, and he managed to get past me on turn 1. That was lots of door handle and mirror racing, but fortunately we didn't touch, and he got through. I finished in a 3rd spot, but yeah, awesome racing. It was great, good dicing. Thanks, guys.
Got a good start, managed to get in behind Andy, sat there for a while and tried everything I could to just get past, but on the circuit to pass is just so difficult.
Did you force him into a mistake or?
No, I did a do or dive. I got a good run out of the last turn onto the straight. Got a bit of a toe down the straight, and then I did a let's see what happens if I put it in here, and Andy was kind enough to let me through, and I managed to finish second. We just can't catch this, so I don't know what he's got in that car.
Yeah, I don't know either. I managed to get a great start again. I don't know how, on the dirty side of the track. Great start, led into turn 1, was able to take the wide line again. And then Andy tucked in behind me. I thought, right, lekker, let's go. But I think the pressure from Sean behind just gave me a bit of a gap that I could breathe and then get into a rhythm. And managed to hold him off the whole race. It was lekker. I could see the B class oaks in the head, but I couldn't keep up with them. But at least it gave me a bone to chase. So it was lekker. It was good. It was a great race. See what happens in the 3rd one.
Lead Racing, dedicated to supplying low-cost racers and low-cost racers to be with cost-effective and quality components for their race cars. Alright, and just like that, ready rock for race 3. You can see Jeff Gable getting into his car, but what's this? Looks like JP Nokia is frantically working on his vehicle still while Jeff is getting in. Jeff's getting in, the lights are about to go out. I hope he's made the grid, but lights out, and off we go. Sean Hepburn with a horrible start, and then, oh my goodness, Andre Duplessis missing all the gears and just flying backwards. That was really unfortunate. As you can see, Jeff Gable has got away, Nick Hodgson as well, Andy Fulton, Sean Hepburn and Rowan van der Walt following through, but it looks like Andre Duplessis is now right at the very back of the pack and going to have to come through. Here's a replay of the start. You can see Andre gets a brilliant start, Sean gets a horrible start, but then Andre misses all those gears, and that allows Sean to get away and have a bit of a breathing room despite that awful start. Ben Knights though behind trying to challenge Barry Dunford. Barry having a phenomenal race weekend here at Dezzi Raceway and really showing his skills around this track. But Ben is all over the back of him right now at this early stage of race 3. Let's see if anything can be made of this for Ben. But at the moment, Barry keeping it nice and tidy, keeping on those lines. Oh, already already going defensive, trying to break that toe from Ben. Ben says, that's fine, I'll go around the outside. Let's see what you got here, Barry. Down into third, and trying to go around the outside, squeezing, but Barry will have that inside line. As the day has worn on, that outside line seems to really work, and I think Ben is going to have this as we go into this tight little left-hander. There you can see Barry in the rear view mirror, and it looks like Ben has squeaked past, but Barry is still there. Barry's still there, and he slides it up the inside as we go up and over this hill. Great little comeback from Barry. Awesome little battle this from race the lap 1 for race 3. Great to see, and Ben now just has to tuck in behind Barry and hope he can get a good run onto the start-finish straight. Barry, though, absolutely rockets around that corner. Looks like Ben was very squirrely and all over the place and getting a terrible exit, and that has allowed Barry to scamper away somewhat. But as we go through turn 1 now again, this is an opportunity for Ben to catch up once more. As I said, this track is so technical. Oh, you can see just how much Ben is having to fight the car, whether that's a balance thing, whether his possibly brake bias a little bit off, not sure, but Ben really having to work that wheel and wring every ounce of speed out of that car. As we're on board now with Andre Duplessis having to wring everything out of his Class L as he tries to attack some of what I believe are some of our KZN friends, and looking to try and make a move up the inside. Yes, up the inside of this tight right-hander. Such a popular space for moves here at Dezzi Raceway, and already makes up a position. So Andre really on a recovery drive and trying to make another move as soon as he possibly can. He can see that Class L pack just ahead, and he does not want to let them get away, and he needs them. He absolutely needs them for a little bit of a slipstream and to pull him back into contention. But Andre really trying to make it absolutely. You can see the different lines these guys are taking through this last little section. Andre keeping it super tight through the whole section. It really seems to pay dividends. And on the exit of the last corner, you can see the extra power from those KZN chaps is just absolutely monstering him and monstering his chances of having a move into turn 1. So he'll have to regroup, rethink, and see if he can try and make a move somewhere else. As we cut to the next lap, you can see Andre's really caught up. Oh, he's so close and so tight behind. Oh my goodness, where's he going to try and make a move? We'll have to see. He takes a wider line through this turn 5 and tries to make the most on the exit. Absolutely flat on the power, even though he gets super close behind the back bumper. Nothing doing though, because of course all that extra power means that he's going to have to regroup later on. But you can see the Class L pack isn't getting away, so there are definitely opportunities. Is he going to dive up the inside here? Certainly showing his nose and trying to psych out his competitor. Gets alongside, but having none of it, absolutely scampers away. And off we go once more and have to regroup again. When you're facing an opponent with so much more power, it's going to be very difficult. Back up with Andy Fulton now, currently in second position here, battling away once again with Sean Hepburn. Sean in the background there, just trying everything he can to unsettle Andy and get him to make a little mistake. Because, as I said, if you keep your car on the racing line at Dezzi, it's going to be extremely difficult for your opponent to make any kind of move. And Andy right now is driving beautifully and really showing just how well he is gelling, and so quickly as well, with his brand new car. So Andy doing really well. Out of the last corner, here he goes down the start finish straight. Is Sean going to be in the slipstream enough to make a move? Let's see. He's looming large in that mirror. Andy right on the limiter in third gear, turns in, gives a little bit of space on that inside, but Sean unable to make a move. Now we're back with Barry Dunford. This man has been making moves left, right and centre today. Is he going to be able to attack Jean de Toy, who of course in Lotus Challenge is absolutely famous for his defensive driving? And Jean at the moment not feeling the need to use any kind of defensive lines. You can see Ben Knights lurking in the background there, just trying to pick up any kind of pieces if Barry makes a mistake while he attacks Jean. So we'll have to cut back to that later, as I can see Sean Hepburn is down the inside of Andy Fulton and there we go. There's a move, but Andy's going to get the cutback. Will he be able to go around the outside of this left-hander? Seems unlikely. He has tried to psych Sean out for the corner, but Sean, having absolutely none of it, takes the normal line and keeps Andy behind him for now. Barry Dunford, though, diving up the inside of Jean de Toy, spotted a weakness and absolutely exploited it. Now, will Jean be able to come back on the inside? We've seen this inside line be used by Ben to massive success, but Jean is not Ben, and it seems like Barry has got that move done and dusted. Still taking a narrow line as we go through this right-hander towards the end of the lap, just to make sure that Jean doesn't feel like having a dive on Barry in his slightly weakened state. With the line coming out of that corner. Oh my goodness, Andre Duplessis is back. He is back, baby, and he is all over the back of this mid-pack fight. And as we see, Barry Dunford has scampered away, but now is Ben Knight going to be able to take on Jean? We'll have to see. And Andre also very feisty. You can see just how disappointed he is with himself, having made that mistake off the start line. He's desperate to be back up there, not want to take any kind of Melody lying down. My goodness, look how close. Look how close. How have they not touched? That is incredible stuff from Andre Duplessis. And Ben Knight's absolutely unfazed, looking ahead the whole time. Jean running very wide. Jean de Toy trying everything he possibly can to keep these two behind him. He's had Barry get past. He's absolutely not keen. Oh, is Andre going to throw a move here? Andre said, "You've left the door open, Ben. You've left the door open, my son. I'm coming through if you like it or not." Ben's having none of it though, and will go up this inside, so confident through this little section, through that curve. You can see how well Ben uses it, but Andre does get a much better run this time. Around the outside he goes, up the inside of the next corner, and there's a move made, a multi-corner move there from Andre Duplessis. What an incredible race we have here in the mid-pack of Class L. It's been like that the whole day. Mid-pack Class L has really shown us how racing is done. This is phenomenal stuff. And now Andre is all over the back of Jean and looking to make up another move. I tell you what, Andre will have overtaking fatigue by the end of this race. He's had to make so many moves to come back and try and reclaim where he feels his rightful place was, given how high up the grid he started. But Andre now looking to make his way through on Jean. Jean, you can see there, going super defensive. Wow, even running onto the grass, using absolutely all of the track and some more. As we see Jeff Gable now is flying away and currently undeterred up at the front of Class B. You can see just how bumpy it is in a Class B car down this long hill that gives you just so much speed in a short space of time. But once again, you can see Jeff is just so smooth on those inputs and really has full command of his car. Wow, speaking of, look how bouncy it was through the top of that hill. I almost expected the back end of Andre's car to step out of on him, but he's having absolutely none of it. But oh my goodness, look how close they get in the braking zone. Did Jean brake a little bit early there? Did Andre brake super late? Not sure. My sense is that Jean just broke a little bit early just to get him that nice inside line for the corner, and that caught Andre slightly unawares, just based on how Ben didn't also concertina up. But yeah, and once again, Andre just trying to find any kind of gap to put a move on Jean. Goes to the inside, goes to the outside, looking for any space that he can possibly find. Ben Knight's also lurking behind once more, trying to pick up any kind of pieces that he can find, but nothing doing right now. Onto the start-finish straight we go. Who's gonna have it? But it looks like that Jean de Toy lives to fight another day. But here we come with looks like, it's our case then friend once more, making a move there on Ben, really finding his pace here and flying away. Look at how much power he has, absolutely outpowering these Class L's by a long way. But we'll have to see how we go through the rest of this lap and what this is going to do for the battle between Andre and Jean. Ben having to settle in behind and try and pick up some of that slipstream. You can see somebody's behind Ben now. Who is this coming through? This looks like JP Nokia. JP has made the race. That frantic work on that front right suspension at the beginning of the race looks to have paid off, and he must have started from the pit lane. I tell you what, that's what's happened. We haven't seen JP start from the pit lane, and he flies through on both Ben and KZN friends, and off he goes. He's going to take on Andre and Jean very, very quickly as well. I'm sure Ben's now got somebody else on his tail. We'll have to see who that is later. And we're back now with Andy Fulton, with Sean Hepburn up ahead, and Andy really trying to stick with Sean now. It looks like Sean has just got the pace on Andy, but any kind of mistake, you can see again how wide Sean runs out of that top corner, out of turn 5, that blind crest. If you get that wrong, you can really, really mess up your day. But Sean seems to have it waxed, loving that wider line, and Andy taking a much more conventional line. Seems to be working for Sean. But now we're on board with Andre Duplessis, who's all over the back of Jean de Toy as we head into the closing stages of this race 3. This fantastic track at Dezzi Raceway has brought many thrills and spills. But oh my goodness, look how close Andre gets once again to Jean. He did that to Ben. Now he's done it to Jean. As we see JP Nokia coming through, saying, "Chaps, I need to try and get back to where I should be. I'm going to come through whether you like it or not." And I don't want to say it's definitely not ruined, because now Andre, I should say, is going to get a great exit and use that slipstream from JP to keep him back in the hunt as we go on to the second last lap of the race. And Andre is now all over the back of Jean once more. JP working his way through has cost them absolutely nothing, and JP's off down the road looking to try and find and fight Jeff Gable, although I have a feeling that's unlikely to happen. Let's see how we pan out right at the end of the race. Andre all over the back of Jean, still absolutely got the pace on him, but Jean is using all of his know-how, all of his nous to try and keep Andre behind him, and doing so successfully at the moment, using all the defensive lines. You can see how early Jean is going defensive, which has forced Andre to try and run around the outside, squeeze Jean incredibly to the inside, and it looks like he's made that move stick. That was brave driving, really brave driving, and I was hoping we were going to get a replay from Jean's perspective there, because it looked like he was squeezed absolutely. Oh my goodness, we have a spinner and just misses Ben. Goodness me, Ben kept his composure there. That was brave from Ben. He didn't back out. He has absolute faith that the spinner was not going to run into him, but now he's got to put that out of his mind and try and attack Jean now. You can see Andre has just scampered off down the road. I did say that he had the pace on Jean. It looks to be true, and now Ben is going to try and attack Jean himself. Let's see how this one pans out. He's got very little time left, though, of this race. I think we're on the last lap. We are on the last lap. This is Jeff Gable once more. 3 wins, completely undeterred by Dezzi Raceway. A fantastic weekend for Jeff, and you can see Nick Hodgson in the background there, really closing in on his heels. We haven't seen much of Nick today, but it looks like he's taken 3 wins as well. That's 3 for Jeff, 3 for Nick, and Andy Fulton all over the back of Sean Hepburn. These two have been joined at the hip the whole day, and Andy all over the back of him. Is he going to try and make a move over the start-finish line? I don't think he's going to have the runway to do it, and missing a couple of gears as well, but that's it. Taking the checkered flag. These two, having had dices the entire day, are going to be just super grateful, I think, to come home with a car in one piece. But are we going to see Ben Knights and Jean de Toy come home in one piece? Andre Duplessis looks to be set home and away, home free, up ahead. But is Ben going to be able to take on Jean in these dying stages? He's not going to be able to go around the outside of this corner. Is he going to try the cutback? He is trying the cutback. Look at that. Trying the cutback on Jean de Toy. He's here. And Jean is absolutely having none of it, but is forced slightly wide through this last corner. Ben just unable to quite stick his nose up the inside enough to get all that room, and Jean is going to come home just ahead of Ben. Great racing by these two. Wow, phenomenal stuff. But let's have a look at how our results turn out. Jeff Gable finishing in first for Class B. JP Nokia recovery drive from from the pit lane in second position. In Class L, we got Nick Hodgson, followed by Sean Hepburn and Andy Fulton. The story of the day, that is how we lined up. Ruan van der Walt coming home in 4th place. Great result there for Ruan in the last race. So let's hear from the drivers
It
now.
was a very good one. It's probably my best race day since I've started at Lotus. I've achieved fantastic lap times, and yeah, it's been an epic day of racing, an awesome weekend. Everything about it has just been good. I overtook Ben. He managed to get past me. I managed to get back in front of him on lap 1. Then I caught up to Jean and Ruan and managed to get past Jean, but Jean had some problems with his anti-roll bar, so I sort of lost touch with Ruan. And as much as I tried to catch up to Ruan, the distance just stayed the same. So what an awesome day. I think I finished 5th for the last race, so hoping for a fantastic result overall for the day, but a beautiful day.
RPAC, your premium packaging solutions experts. We prioritize quality. What a phenomenal trip it has been down to the South Coast. Unbelievable action the whole time. It's an absolute privilege to come down to what I like to think of the Monaco of South Africa. Such a tight, twisty circuit, but so rewarding to tackle. And we'll see you again next time for round 5 back at Red Star Raceway. See you then.